The meeting to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, would you read our mission statement?
Sorry. The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda. I do have one addition. Just this afternoon, we added a new custodial position, so that is included in the consent agenda, just for your information. So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Go for it. Second?
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Sarah Runcie to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item is our Tiger Spotlight, the oath of office of Anne-Marie Vorbach. If I could have you come down to the front, Anne-Marie, and right here. I got a few things to read, and then I'll have you repeat after me.
Okay.
It is an honor that you are appointed to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve this vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound of organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community. We must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of for our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Having signed the acceptance of office and the oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. Would you repeat after me? I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state.
I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state.
And that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member.
And that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member.
Of Independent School District Number 413 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Of Independent School District Number 413 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Our next item is our school board recognition video, and I know there's one person that hasn't seen this yet, so get ready, Bill.
So just before we start, I want to share, this is something that Amy Gillingham, as our communications coordinator, has been working on for a few weeks, but she's been in contact with family members of all of our board members, and I think she did a really nice job in this, and we just want to thank you on behalf of the school district for the work that you all do.
Hey Grandpa, we just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the community throughout the years. Your love for education and all the students that you serve has always been so evident in all that you do. We know it hasn't always been easy, but you've truly faced each challenge with grace and helped make Marshall a better place because of it.
Marshall Public Schools has been so lucky to have someone who's so passionate about the success of its students. You've served as a great example for your children and grandchildren on how to uphold your values and be a positive impact to the people you encounter. Thanks again for everything. We love you a bushel and a peck. Hug around the neck.
What do you think a school board member does?
Board, they use colors to write on the smart board. They work on the smart board.
My name is Justin Vorbach. I'm married to Anne-Marie Vorbach, who is involved with the MORE Network, which is Marshall and Mustang's Overcoming Racism Through Education. She has a PhD in psychology. She has donated a kidney in 2022. She is the mother of Zoe, who is a junior at St. Olaf College, and she is the mother of Jonah, who is a junior currently at Marshall High School. And she's been married to me since 1998, and as you can tell, I married up.
My husband is Jeff Chapman, who is also the father to 3 children. He loves serving the community. His greatest pride and joy is having worked on the CTI Center. He is retired from 46 years in the food service industry, working for Hy-Vee, and now his biggest job, besides being on the school board, is taking care of me, and he does a very good job of that too.
$5,000. That's what I was gonna say.
Let me tell you that the coolest thing about me is having Matt Coleman as a dad. He is the most humble, kind, and helpful man I have ever known. Some things that he really loves to do is hang out and be with his grandkids and his family. He loves spending time with his dog and working on his fish tank, and he loves supporting Marshall Public Schools. And I'm not just talking about all the football games that my mom and him go to. You can find him at a play, an orchestra concert, any sort of C Squad or B Squad game. He loves to support all students doing special things, and I think that makes him very special.
What is a school board member?
What's the best thing that's ever happened to you?
I gotta think about it.
Hello, my name is Cadence Frank.
My name is Spencer.
Our mom is Sarah.
For free time, she loves to do home improvement stuff, woodworking, painting.
Some things that she does to show that she's passionate about the community and the students is how involved she is with the dance team. She's always cheering us on in the crowd, loves coming to watch us perform. She's always willing to take a leadership role within a committee, and for the past 2 years, she has also been president of the Booster Club. Bye, Mom. We love you.
Probably eat.
Play board games.
I work on stations.
My mom is school board member Sarah Renchie, and throughout her time on the board, she's shown how much she cares for Marshall Public School students and their community. One of the things that I'm proudest of from her time on the board is her work getting the referendum for Southview Elementary School passed. Even before she was a board member, she was doing a lot of work to get the referendum passed, and she continued to fight for it during her first term on the board. Throughout her time on the board, she's truly shown how much she cares for students, teachers, and our entire Marshall Public Schools community, and I'm so proud to call her my mom.
My teacher, Miss Larson.
You.
Did we get all the answers wrong?
Thank you for all your hard work.
You guys are the best. I do awesome work.
Thank you!
Our kids and our community are so lucky to have each of you on our school board. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you for everything you do for our district.
That was very good, so thanks. Thanks to Amy for putting that together and whoever else was involved, so. Our next item is our public forum. Is there anybody from the public want to approach the board? Next item is our presentation on the Pride in the Tiger Foundation. Welcome, Krista.
All that video? Gosh.
I had all intentions of reviewing this afternoon. Yay. So I just have to click. Fantastic. Okay. I think you all know me, Krista Biella, Pride in the Tiger Foundation, and I work at the Marshall High School. So you know our mission. I just like to say it simply. We want to provide opportunities for kids, and we want to do that through Marshall's public and private schools in a variety of different ways. And here's some pictures of some of the impact that we've had this last year. Everything from scholarships to classroom grants to support books, car lifts, math games, a camera for our yearbook kids at the high school. Our board of directors, I would be remiss if I didn't mention their dedicated support and encouragement. It's a fantastic group of community members from all areas of business, and so Carl Johnson is our current president. He works at Hoffman and Ropes. Bruce Lamprecht is our vice president. Michelle Castor is our treasurer. Robin Bednarik is our secretary. And then Brent Snodgrass has been our past president for the past 2 years. Our other distinguished board members, Tracy Deitz, Gustavo Estrada, Jim Tate, Mark Craigmile, Shave Vandendriessy, Matt Felton, Lauren Deitz, Matt Suby, and Janelle Wartner. And they are super supportive and very active in all the things that the foundation does, from recognizing individual students to reviewing applications for grants to helping raise more money and more awareness of the foundation. So. Our two big impact areas, as you know, are our scholarships, and we're just getting into the meat of that season right now, and classroom impact grants, which our next grant deadline is March 1st, and we've been receiving applications for that deadline. I think I just got my first ones last week. So those are kind of two big areas where we focus. When we look at the numbers over the last however many years that is, you can kind of see we did have a little dip last year in our ability to give both in scholarships and teacher impact grants, and it was really due to where the markets were at. The great news is we're seeing that turn around. The year prior, we had finally reached that $3 million mark where our wealth portfolio had just kind of eked over that $3 million mark, and then last year's markets really hit us hard. We've just gotten back over that mark this last month, so it's really good to see that built back up. I'm very hopeful. The $185,000 scholarship is an estimate. I'm still gathering information from our annual scholarships, and we'll meet next week to talk about our endowed funds and kind of where we'll look to fund those scholarships for this year. And then we've only had one grant cycle this year so far, and we were able to give out just a little over $54,000 in grants that first grant cycle in October. So I think the numbers are looking good. We've really seen growth. I think if you look back, year over year, there was growth, and we saw some big jumps there from 2020 up through 2022. So that's great to see. Does anybody have any questions about any of those numbers?
I have a question. Do you typically do more of those teacher impact grants in October than in the spring?
Typically.
So that's why that number is pretty high?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. We just have more applications, I think, start of the year. A couple times now, this last year was one of them, I did go and speak to all of the public school staff at their in-service day. Yeah, the full workshop day, and just talked about the foundation, and I think that always helps generate more of those applications. So some updates. Here's a new, I should have put the old picture so that you could see. Here's a new picture of the video board. We've added 2 advertising spots in the last couple years. One is Runnings and the other is ADM. And the really cool thing about that is they came to us. So I would love to say I'm a great salesperson, but I think what's great is the story. And so people want to support the story. Interestingly enough, I've had 2 different school districts about the similar in size to ours that have come and asked for our input and help on how they can build a similar program to what we have here, so Brookings and Wilmer. And so I've met with both of those foundations on several occasions to talk with them about how we've built this to support our schools. And so that's been kind of fun to share our story. I think it's always great when we can brag about the great things that we're doing here. So all the ad spaces are filled. It generates roughly around $70,000 in billable revenue a year. And the funds raised, for the most part, go towards classroom impact grants. We have pretty minimal operating costs thanks to the support of Marshall Public Schools, providing the technological support that we need to run the foundation. So I do have an office at the high school where I do that work. Does anybody have any questions about that? Here is all of the sponsors, and so what I always love to say, and if you attend an activity at the Marshall High School and the video board is on, you'll see there's a little thank you from the foundation, really encouraging fans to understand that these businesses support our schools, so please support them. So take note of all of these great businesses that support us in our schools. So We also have our new CTE Partners sponsorship or partnership program out at the CTI Center. And we've had several new supporters come forward, and we're still working on all of those processes. But some of the bigger ones that we've seen some support from, we've raised nearly $130,000, and that's just through the foundation. So understand that the school district itself has gotten some grants directly through LIFT and Southwest Initiative Foundation that wouldn't be on this list. This is anything that's come through the foundation to support the CTE programming. And I have a check in my bag right now for $20,000 from Lockwood that just arrived today, so add them to the list.
ABRA.
And ABRA, yes, thank you. It's from Lockwood and ABRA for the Sponsor a Bay program. So that's a great thing to see. Does anyone have any questions about any of that? Grants have also been a big focus this last year. We've been applying to US Bank for a grant yearly since before my time with the foundation. They've been very, very generous. But this past year, we received a grant from Taco Bell Foundation for $10,650. I know that sounds like a really weird number, and there's a reason why. Their foundation has general grants or a grant pool of money that they give out based on, I think it's 3 different pillar areas. And then Taco Bell has a roundup program. So if you go to Taco Bell and you buy and it equals $5.50, you can choose to round up 50 cents to make it an equal $6. That all goes into a pool, and that roundup money goes to then support any grants that their community gets. So that's why we have the strange number for that grant gift. We've already been invited to apply again, and that application has been put in, and I think we'll hear the end of this month on that one. And then obviously the big hometown grant that we received from T-Mobile was another big, really fun event that we got to partner with the school on. So all good stuff. So classroom impact grants, and that's where a lot of these dollars go to support. And there's just so many different things that we fund, but when we look at a grant, we kind of look at this rubric and ask teachers to fill out the application that you see there on, I guess, my right. You know, we just really want to look at, does it support a learning objective in the schools? Is it student focused? So we typically want to make sure that it's maybe not necessarily educating teachers, not professional development, but it's really focused on student learning, that it's going to have a lasting impact. So it's not maybe a consumable item or something that's maybe a one-time event, that it's a lasting impact. And then it's going to provide hopefully some visibility. And so we've really been asking in the past, we've always just asked them to put something in the paper. We continue to ask them to do that, but we also want them to, you know, kind of put it out on social media, because we're really seeing that the more awareness that we raise, the more dollars we can raise. And that ultimately is our goal. It's just to increase that giving. So if you look at our application numbers, those 2 have grown over the past few years. And so we're kind of getting back up there. They're a little bit down last year, but I'm seeing us back up in that number of requests in the 60s again. And, you know, that's always our goal, the more that we review. Our foundation makes every effort to approve at least part of every application if we're able, as long as it fits within our mission. And certainly there's times we receive requests that don't fit in our mission, but if we aren't able to fund the full amount, and this is why we ask for so much detail in the requests, is that we at least will try to provide part of the request and encourage them to come back for additional if it works within, you know, however the request comes in. So it's always our goal to at least provide some support in some way. Again, here's just some fun photos of the different things. We do a lot of books. We do some flexible seating, the little colorful math game on the bottom. There's some EL packets that we provided for the middle school English learner classes, and we provided some software, or not software, but like login information for a program called Quizzes. We've provided cameras, new desktops at the high school for the video production class. Those are the ones, I think. Tools, we've gotten a lot of tools lately. So there's just a wide variety of things that we provide. We've been supporting a lot of field trips as well, and we'll see a lot of those come across in the spring, is the field trips. So. And then the other big area is scholarships, always such an exciting time. This year's award ceremony is May 15th. 16th at 7 p.m. And we are, we made a change back in, it would have been 21, I think was the first year we did this. In 21, because of COVID, we could not have a banquet. And so we chose to do the event at the high school in the gym and ask students to, we kind of limited the number of people they could bring just because of numbers at that time. And thought, well, we'll just try it and see how it goes. And the feedback that we got was so good that we've continued to do it that way, and it's been received very positively. It's still a quite long event, 2 hours, to get all the scholarships given. But what I love about it is the high school staff does such an amazing job of making it so personal for all the students who receive scholarships. And they take so much time to just really talk about the student and what they've done and where they're going. And so we'll follow it with a dessert box to go again. I love that we use Naptime Baking. She's alumni. I just heard from her today. It's like her favorite project of the year to do these dessert boxes, and I kind of just say, here's my budget. Do what you think is neat, and she just puts so much heart into it. And so I love that because she's alumni and she's an entrepreneur. But I think we'll have about $185,000 this year. We do have some new scholarships, the Bruce and Vicki Lamprecht Scholarship, the Sunrise Rotary Scholarships, a Lockwood Motor Scholarship, and the Class of 1973 Scholarship. And then I have 2 more in the funnel I can't talk about yet, but I'm hoping to know by March 1st. So, all exciting things along with all the other scholarships that we've had for years. So the process has started. We're putting the committee together. We're very appreciative of the support of Mr. Williams. That scholarship meeting lasts 5 hours at minimum to go through. And last year was the first year we actually asked for some time for them to start a little bit earlier, because otherwise we'd get done at 8, 9 o'clock at night. They were very appreciative of that. And so we're hoping to be able to do that again this year. I won't be a part of the meeting this year because I have a senior. So we have a plan to address all of that within our foundation board. There'll be someone else participating in that this year, but it's such an exciting time and it's so fun to get ready for it. So
what percentage of students put an application in for a scholarship? What do you think?
That is a really good question, Sarah. I would say, how many were in last year's graduating class? 170, 80?
180.
180 something. So I would say 75%. Okay. So it's pretty high. And of that, not everyone receives a scholarship. I know that's hard, but many of them are academic focused. I think one of the misconceptions out there might be that the foundation decides the criteria for the scholarships, and we do not. The criteria for the scholarships is determined by the donor. And so when someone gives money, whether it be setting up an endowment or an annual scholarship, they dictate and say, here's the criteria. Here's how this student can be identified. And that's why it takes 5 hours to meet and go through all the details of all the applications to understand which student fits that criteria. And it kind of becomes a big puzzle. We want to recognize as many students as possible with a gift, but we also want to recognize that there is some academic focus to it too. So
are there ever ones that are just like general focused?
We have a few. Yeah. We do have a few. Yep. We do have a few, and we are seeing more in the past. I think many of them have been focused, and we have some that are very specific, like they have to be studying medical and they have to go to a University of Minnesota campus. It can be any of the University of Minnesota campuses, but it has to be a U campus. We have some that they have to be studying education at SMSU. I mean, there's some that are very, very specific, and the more specific they are, sometimes the more difficult it is to give them out. And then we have some that are much more general. We have some that are 2-year scholarships where the student, it's a $5,000 scholarship, let's say. The first year they might get $2,500 of that. They have to provide their transcripts from their freshman year in college and show that they've maintained a 3.0 grade point average to get their second year. So it's a big spreadsheet. Yeah. So but again, the donors dictate what those criteria are. We are seeing more that are looking for anyone who could be going to a 2 or a 4-year program. We are starting to see some more of that, and I think that's from the push in general with education, with career and technical education and things like that. So, good question. So if you look at our scholarship trends. Data, I have this information back to 2020 is when I have spreadsheets. So. I'm sure if I went through the files, I could find the other numbers, but anyway. So if you look at kind of where our dollar breakouts are, where you've seen the growth is in the annual scholarships. Our like I said, our portfolio took a little bit of a hit last year, and we chose to give more conservatively off of our wealth fund because of where the dollars were at, and we never want a endowed fund to drop below the original gift. And so that's why we sometimes change between that 3% and 5% when we look at where the yearly average is for that fund. Some of them we might adjust down to that 3% giving because we don't want to go below the original gift. And so that's why you see that change in that number. But our annual scholarships are growing, which I love to see. So that just means more people want to get involved. They maybe don't have that initial $10,000 to build an endowment, but they're like, hey, I want to support students who are going on to education. And then we have some that I call hybrid, where they want to start giving now. They aren't ready to do endowment, but someday they want to get to it. And so maybe they want to do a $1,000 scholarship, and they'll do it on an annual basis, but they're also, writing a check maybe now for, $2,000. So we put the other $1,000 towards an endowed fund, and they're building that. So just trying to work with, where people are at with their financial giving. So raising awareness, this is a big part of how we can continue to grow the foundation. We use social media a lot. We launched a new website, I think it was just last year, and we are continuing to see more traffic there. I was looking at last year's presentation, and the numbers that I gave you on our Facebook reach were just about 4,000, and I was so excited about that number, but now look where we are. 23,000. So that's amazing. And I know a lot of that just comes from being able to cross-reference between the schools, and Amy's been really great about putting together some great stuff that I can share along with what she puts out. So that does help. And then we put a little bit more focus on Instagram as well, because that reaches a younger population. So, and then Twitter I'm not great at yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So anyway, that's good to see. We really just want to sustain our mission, and that is, again, to provide opportunities for kids. We do that through our annual endowed scholarships, fundraising, the gym sponsorships, social media, our website, our annual raffle that we do along with our golf tournament. Our big events each year are the scholarship ceremony, which will be coming up in May. Our golf tournament this year will be a week later than usual because of where the 4th of July falls. And then Hall of Honor. And I wrote to be determined because we did Hall of Honor, not this last fall, but the year before. And it was a great event. We honored some wonderful giving people. But we realized that the only people that come are the people that they invite. So it's not really a community event. And these are people who should be recognized in our community. And so we're throwing around some ideas about maybe doing it more at like a public event and recognizing them at the halftime of a football game, or doing something like that just to make it more of a community event and tie it back to the school a little bit more. So that's why it says to be determined. We still want to recognize them, but we just might do it a little bit differently. So we all need to work together. I think collaboration has been the key to this last year. I'm so grateful to have worked with Jeremy so closely with the CTE initiative, along with Lauren at the EDA, and just all the business community to just so generous in giving to that program. And so I just think collaboration is key, and we're really now kind of working towards kind of connecting with our alumni better. And so once we get through this next grant cycle, we will be kind of doing some more alumni communication, hoping to generate a little bit more with that. So school, business, community, and alumni all working together to do the same thing, and that's just support our kids. Any questions?
So the impact grants are not just for Marshall Public, right?
No.
It's for everybody.
All schools, yep.
Do you visit those schools too to teachers?
I'm in communication with those schools by email, and I actually this year for the first time after we gave out the grants visited each school, because I had not been to all of the schools, and at least got to meet the principal at the school and kind of visited and took some photos and things like that. But no, I don't know if they have staff meetings. I've always offered.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I email all building principals. I just did, I guess, I don't know, I think it was middle of January, just to remind them of the grant cycle. I send the application out every time. Yeah. So, yeah.
Excellent work, Christy. Excellent work.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Krista, I just want to say it's so appreciated, the collaboration. That's been huge. You look at all these things that we couldn't do for our kids without the support of the Pride the Tiger group. So thank you for your work.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Our next item is the consent agenda. I will need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Been a motion by Sarah Runcie and a second by Sarah Brink to approve the consent agenda. I will call for the vote.
Consent agenda, where am I? Huh? Joint meeting?
Yeah.
Got it.
There you go.
And that is approved. Next item is a board forum. Any board updates? I attended a couple of first-time advisory meetings for the CTI Center, one for automotive and one for healthcare. And there were some community members there, and we were just asking what their needs are and how things are going and what else can we do and what can we do to improve and what can we add. And so it's interesting to hear what the community is the mechanics are looking for and the people at Avera are looking for. I thought it was interesting. I asked the lady at Avera how their staffing is compared to a couple of years ago. She said 2 years ago we had 30 openings for CNAs at this time, and now we have 8. So it is getting better. So, but there's still a demand for CNAs. So we're doing the right stuff. So, anybody else? Moving on to our discussion items. First, review of policies 301 to 306. Any questions on those? And our next item is a second review of policies 204 to 214. Any questions on those? Our next item is an action item, approval of a resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract. This is something we do every year at this time. I will need a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Bill.
I'll just share
Any
that
further discussion? Go ahead,
with
Jeremy.
licensure pieces. So we have a number of staff who are not fully licensed, or they're working under a tier 1 or a tier 2 license or an OFP and out of field permission. So with requirements of the state to have people fully licensed in tier 3 or tier 4 level, we need to open those positions annually. So that's what's going on here.
Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. And that is approved. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I need to have you sign a couple of things.
Sure. Thanks, Al.
There's that one.
Which does not exist.